everybody, welcome back to my anime react channel, Gizanime. Today we're going to be watching Kenja No Deshi, or She Professed Herself, Pupil of the Wise Man, Episode 2. Actually, this is more of a review than a reaction, but yeah. So, last episode we left off with a little bit of a backstory. We see Dunblf in action. You know, he's the one-man army. He's able to summon all kinds of different beasts, angels, knights, etc., to take out various enemies. And we find out at the end of the episode that he disappeared, and that through his disappearance, the world has basically fallen into some kind of chaos or havoc. Even though it really doesn't appear that way, from what I've gathered in this episode, it's been everything that Solomon could do to just keep his kingdom afloat. The world has vastly changed. We'll go over more of that as I go over the episode itself. But to say the least, Dunblf's disappearance has caused quite the stir in the world itself, allowing for all kinds of things to happen that probably wouldn't have happened. Along with the disappearance of most of the other mages or people that, you know, Solomon used to use to help him keep things in check, like Luminara, which is actually the only one that stuck with him after 10 years. So now going over the episode itself, we start off with the maid that Dunblf left behind, kind of cleaning up the house and tending to her normal chores. What's weird about this interaction is the fact that she seems really sad that Dunblf is gone. Like, so much to the point where she prepares him dinner knowing he's not going to show up. I don't know if this has been a routine thing since the moment he left, or if it's just started because we learned some things within the game. We learned that 30 years have gone by since his disappearance. Now, I don't know if this is in-game, if this is real life, or if this is both. I'm assuming it's in-game, which means you've got to jump through, I think, quite a few loopholes to really make this make sense. Because, in my opinion, the moment he logged out and things went awry, he would have automatically known there's been updates in the game, because as a player, you know things have changed. So when they come back and tell him things have changed, he should have already known that. It seems a bit weird. And then there's the 30 years changing. That to me seems like a pretty massive update. So I don't know if this is in-game time and maybe he's been away from the keyboard for a few weeks or a few months or something to that effect. Because one of the things that we learn is that the NPCs, this maid that was making dinner and all of the others, are basically sentient beings now. They have feelings, they can express emotions, sorrow, loss, you know, things of that nature, which makes her making the dinner make sense. But at the same time, one wonders how sentient or alive they really are. Like, are they aware that they're NPCs in a game? Are they able to break the mold and become players themselves? Are they still like bound within certain parameters of the game? You know what I mean? Like, how sentient is sentient? Because Solomon says that they're sentient beings. Also, on a side note, we also learned that there are no more floating islands. So that was a one-off, which is kind of disappointing because that seemed like a really cool gimmick to me. And just to have it in the opening episode seems like a throwaway thing. Like, why even mention that in the first place or have it anyways? Alright, and then we get into the episode title, which is I Lied. So basically Solomon comes to the conclusion that aside from him, and it seems like Luminaria are the only ones that know that he's actually, or she's Dunblf in this female form, is because Solomon said, well, we don't want other countries to know that you're him, because it would make us appear weak because you're in a childlike body, so they might try us. And I kind of get his reasoning, but at the same time, it's like, well, does it really matter? Because he's been gone this whole time anyway, so even having somebody in a female childlike body show up would still be something as opposed to nothing. So, I mean, if they're not going to try you when he's not around, what's to stop them from trying when they think a childlike version of his is around? You know what I mean? Like, it still, in a way, doesn't make sense. So, they say that, and then they also say that, you know, we don't want anybody to know because it might throw, you know, the citizens of the city into disarray. They might become confused by it. But if they're sentient beings, then they should know that A, they're in a game again, and B, that him being in a different body is irrelevant because he could still use the same spells and abilities, etc., etc. So I'm really fighting to understand the logic behind why this even matters.
Well, you got me. By all accounts, it doesn't make sense.
Alright, so that leads me into pretty much the next part, which is Solomon tells Mira that, and I'm going to go probably back and forth between Mira and Dunblf because it's literally the same person, that there's a bunch of monsters that are attacking, and Luminaria has gone off to the main front of it where there are like 800 monsters, and then there is another spot with like a lot less of them that he wants to send Mira to. And the general that is with him and the mage looking guy speak up and basically say, hey, look, I don't know if that's wise because, you know, there's a lot of monsters and we don't know how strong she is, so maybe we shouldn't do that. To which Solomon replies, well, I guess now you got to make yourself look good in front of my men, Mira, so go out there and show them that you're powerful. Which kind of just, again, confuses me because these are NPCs. NPCs should know that regardless of a character's physical appearance, it's still the same character.
Oh, hi. Wait a minute. Who are you?
How she or he even managed to change his name in the first place is beyond me. Because he tells us that he used like some kind of cosmetic item or whatnot to change his appearance. Fell asleep, woke up, was unable to change because it had saved it. So he has to wait until he can like save up enough money to get this cosmetic piece again to revert back to his normal form. So, that leads me to believe that it was only overnight because he says he fell asleep and woke up. How he ended up in the middle of a field is beyond me. Because you would have spawned where you logged off. Why he was naked in the first place is beyond me. Again, struggling to make it make sense.
I've been staring at this all day. I still don't get it.
So the NPC should know off bat that this is the same person. On top of that, is Solomon his only friend? Because he says when he logged in, I noticed that you logged in and was really excited that you logged in. And then I see this. So, anybody on his friends list would have known that he logged in and would have known that this is him.
I don't even know who you are.
Because it would have had like some kind of status link or friend link or something to that effect, you know. So, like in World of Warcraft, if you play that, you know, you have like your Battle.net friend list, something to that effect. So, you know it was the same person. Irregardless of the fact that they look different. So, that aside, we go to this battlefield and end up fighting against this lesser demon who uses some kind of crystal, demon crystal, to summon a legendary beast. Now, this legendary beast is dispatched pretty easily by Mira and one of her knights. And as this thing is dispatched, and I'm just laying on the ground alongside the lesser demon, the lesser demon seems to release like some kind of mist or miasma or something to that effect that infuses with this gigantic chicken. Cockatrice, whatever you want to call it. And this chicken morphs into like this dark chicken. So, Dark Chicken of Doom starts to attack and is a little more powerful and starts to give just a slight bit of resistance until for some dumb reason another one of these dark crystals appears by Mira. Now this seems really like out of pocket to just for this like just appear unless it was planned by whoever's trying to get all this stuff done.
That's what she was there for. That was the plan.
That they made this crystal appear out of nowhere to kind of test what Mira was able to do with it, to see if they might be able to duplicate what she did with it. Because they used the crystal to summon a random legendary beast. Mira uses it to infuse it with one of her dark knights, turning into what she refers to as a beast knight. And the thing is gigantic. It's as big as this huge chicken, and they just start going toe-to-toe with one another. Now, during the fight, Mira notices that although she's able to give the dark monster that she created basic commands, which is basically fight or stop fighting, she can't control it to the point where she can tell it where to fire, what to fire at, how much output to put into the blast or whatnot, because this thing creates like this huge crater in the ground, and she ends up recalling it because she can't control it fully. So she does that, calls out a whole bunch of other knights that then slice up this giant bird into mincemeat, dispatching it once again pretty easily, which really makes me wonder like what her upper limit is. Because everything so far has seemed to have been a cakewalk.
Oh, shit, that's just too easy!
So I'm wondering if there's anything that's relative that could beat him or give him a hard time at the least, So at the end of the episode, we learn that all of these monsters are converging on these places to create this swamp of the undead, which will allow monsters to just continually spawn over and over again, causing all kinds of grief for the citizens around it, and just making life miserable for everybody involved, because unless they were able to somehow destroy the swamp, monsters would continue to just spawn out of this forever and eventually overwhelm the citizens, and themselves included. So that's pretty much the episode we get. Again, I just struggle with some of the nuances because you've got to, in any show that you watch, you have to suspend your disbelief to some degree. But this really calls for a lot of suspension, in my opinion, for it to really work. Because even in SAO and Overlord and any other isekai where you're in a game, other people understand it's still you. So I don't understand the point of A, nobody understanding who he is, B, not telling them why he is who he is, because the reasons given are kind of iffy in my opinion, and I don't think they really hold much water. But with that said, let me know what you all thought of this episode of Kenja No Deshi, and I'll catch you all again next time.